Imagine if Goldman Sachs, Chase Bank, and all of the hedge fund managers decided to buy sports cards. What would happen to the sports card market? Would prices explode? Would the market collapse? Or would something else happen that we're not talking about at all? In today's video, I'm going to show you what happens if Wall Street decides to start buying sports cards. And I'm also going to introduce you to a brand new AI bot that I created to help me better analyze card values. And by the end of this video, you're going to know what you should do if Wall Street decides to buy sports cards in 2026 and beyond. Hi, my name is Doc and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm breaking down the concept of institutional money getting into the sports card market, whether this is a good or bad idea for Wall Street to start buying sports cards. But not only that, but what does this idea mean to you?
Since you last saw me, it's become firmly established that trading cards, sports collectibles, and more broadly collectibles have become an accepted alternative asset. The numbers that people are getting for whether it's a trading card that sells for $12.3 million, whether it's ruby red slippers that sell for $32 million, whether it's a Shohei Ohtani baseball that sells for $4.4 million, just been going up astronomically.
That was Ken Golden, the CEO of Golden Auctions, which is one of the largest sports collectibles auction sites in the world. And what he has been seeing is that more and more Wall Street guys are thinking about buying sports cards. And the reason they're thinking about it is because they need to find a new asset class. Yes, that's right. Wall Street is getting desperate. People don't trust the stock market anymore because it's full of fraud and deception. People can't buy bonds because the Federal Reserve is trying to bail out the government in 2026 by lowering interest rates unnecessarily because we have $37 trillion worth of debt that needs to be refinanced. And lastly, what else are they going to buy? Art? Over the last several years, we have seen more and more Wall Street billionaires buy sports teams. From Mark Cuban with the Dallas Mavericks to Steve Ballmer with the LA Clippers, and of course Steve Cohen with the New York Mets. And just in case you haven't been keeping score, Gary Vee is trying to make several $1 billion with his V Friends venture so he can finally buy the New York Jets and end that franchise's dismal losing record. The only problem with Wall Street buying sports cards is what cards are they going to buy?
For the kids out there who are thinking of buying new cards,
Yes.
So new cards that are coming out, are there just too many cards being printed? Is there value, you think, long-term in the new cards that are out there? And I tell you this from personal experience back, I believe, in 1992 or 93, I thought I was so brilliant at trading cards. I bought a case of it was the first season of the baseball of Fleer Ultra. Remember Fleer Ultra? And they overprinted like crazy.
Yep.
My dad has it in his basement. It's worthless. I actually have to pay somebody to take it from us. But they overprinted, and it was such a mistake. And I just wonder what's happening right now.
Well, that was the junk wax era, and the major problem was there was a lot of competition. Everyone was overproducing to meet their minimum guarantees. Now there's really only one exclusive producer for each of the sports. Fanatics, for example, has a 20-year contract with all the leagues, so they're invested in making sure that they grow the market. But in reality, in most sets, the common cards do not retain value. It's the limited print cards, the one that have a piece of a jersey, the one that are signed and numbered, the ones that are autographed that maintain all the value.
Ken Golden just said the quiet part out loud. That is right. 99% of your cards are not going to be worth anything. These are all the types of cards that will not retain their value. And I'm talking, look, this is Pete Crow Armstrong. That's Julio Rodriguez. And here is a patch card from Cody Bellinger. These cards are not going to retain value. And if you don't like hearing that, that's only because you know it's the truth. And if you are subscribed to this channel, you know you get the cold hard truth, even if you don't want to hear it. Because with the facts, you can make better decisions, and that's why you're here.
There are a lot of, asset managers that are putting some allocations into it. People have been contacting me, hey, we'd like to open up a sports ETF. What do you think? What should we be looking at?
And that's what we're looking at. If Wall Street decides to put money into sports cards, here's the question we need to answer. What cards will they buy? And that's the question that we want to answer in this video, because you can actually profit from Wall Street looking at sports cards. And here's the reason why. Because if they're going to target specific cards and you already own them, guess what? Wall Street will pay a premium to put these cards into their ETFs. And that's good news for you. The problem is, which cards are they going to buy? So what I decided to do was create an AI bot to help me better analyze the cards in the hobby. And I started with the PWCC Top 100 list. And the reason that I started with that list is because that seemed to be the consensus that those were the top 100 cards that everyone should own. The problem is that that list isn't very valuable. And so I decided to start a newsletter, yes, a brand new Substack newsletter called High End Cards. And if you spend more than $50,000 a year on sports cards, that's the newsletter that you should subscribe to. If you spend less than that, this newsletter is not for you. And that's because you're not spending enough money to worry about wasting your money. But if you're spending $50,000 a year on sports cards, you cannot afford to throw thousands and thousands of dollars away. And unfortunately, that's what you're doing. Now, we've talked about this on this channel a lot, about wax and about breaks and about which cards are going to be the most valuable, not in terms of investment, but in terms of just your PC. But if Wall Street gets into this game, this hobby changes from just a personal collection to now a real investment strategy. The problem is that there are not 100 cards that you should own. And that's the issue. Once I created the AI bot, once I started analyzing all the cards in the hobby, there's only really about 30 top cards that Wall Street is going to start to target, which means the question becomes, how many ETFs can they really make? I mean, if it's only 30 cards, now there's more than one actual card in the top 30. There are 3 PSA graded 10 Mickey Mantle cards, 1952s. So again, that's one of the top cards in the hobby, and you don't need a newsletter to know that. Again, everybody knows that the 1952 Mickey Mantle card is the most valuable card in the hobby. The problem is that what are the other cards after that? And that's what you don't know, which is the reason why you should subscribe to the newsletter. Again, it's called High End Cards, and it's only for people who spend more than $50,000 on sports cards a year, because you are the ones who are spending so much money that you cannot afford to waste thousands and thousands of dollars on the wrong cards. So if you're interested in that newsletter and you're also interested in the top 30 cards, hit the subscribe button right now, because I'm going to give you some previews over the next couple of weeks of what those top 30 cards are. And if you want to see some nice infographics, hit the subscribe button on my Instagram, because that's where I'm going to publish those infographics as well. Anyway, this is Doc saying I will see you in the next one.